What's going on, YouTube? Back with another video. No gameplay, just chatting. Only because my internet's not working right. So I wanted to talk about some stories that I had while I was in the military. So hopefully y'all enjoy those. If you do like this video, subscribe to the channel so you can get more content. And as always, I will see y'all next time. So just in case you're new here, you don't remember. In the military, I did cable. I was a cable guy. I ran fiber and I ran Cat5 wire networks. That's what we did. So when we got to our first deployment, Iraq, we were tasked to wire up these buildings. There's a palace. So where Saddam Hussein was, we took over one of his big palaces in Baghdad. So we were wiring up that building, and then there were 7 mini palaces that we had to do. And in one of those mini, my team. There was a team that handled the big joint, and then there was pause, and then there was one that handles the 7 mini palaces that we had. And I was on the team that ran the 7 mini palaces, right? So when when we had to do the one of the buildings, they couldn't stop operation because whenever we would come in at a building and wire it up, we're in the way because we're wiring up, we're tearing up old stuff and we're laying down. Well, I should say this: we're laying down the new stuff and then tearing out the old stuff, and we're in the way because. So one building we could not go in there during the day because they're essential. So we had to flip our whole schedule and work at night. So we were working at night, midnight, bro. We hated every moment of it because by the time it would be morning time, we'd be dumb tired. And it's not like they gave us vehicles to drive around. We would have to walk back to our barracks, which is like a 15-minute walk with all of your book bag. You had my vest on, my bulletproof vest, my weapon, the ammo. Like it was not ideal. It was not ideal. So, and then when we were done that project, we had to flip around. We had one day off, and then we had to go back to the day shift. One day off, and then went back to the day shift to finish another building. So we finished that building. We had to lug all the stuff to the next building, and then one day off, flip your schedule back to the day shift. We were so mad. We were so mad. It was not ideal. It was not ideal on any level. On any level, it wasn't ideal. You know what I'm saying? But we had no choice. We had no choice. We were paid to do a job. We had to get out there and do it. So, but it was good times. What made that job fun was the folks I work with. I don't miss the experience by no means, but I do miss the battle buddies that I did work with while we were over there. We had a grand old time working in those buildings. So yeah. So that good old deployment days, boy. Good old deployment days. I learned a lot during that second deployment. I tell you that. If you never I didn't know that there was a off-brand version to the Devil's Lettuce, aka marijuana. I didn't know that there was a watered down version to that. That at that time was years ago that you can get mailed to you. They call it might be hash. I know at that time we were calling it spice. And so we found out there was some cats from the what's the base, Fort Hood, which is down in Texas, right? There was a group of folks from that base, and they somehow was able to order the hash spice. I don't know. They ordered it, right? They ordered it. And when we got there, they were supposed to be showing us the ropes because we were transitioning them out and then transitioning us in to handle such projects. So the way it worked when we were on our second deployment, the way it worked, CBs, aka the construction folks that had built, they're the ones that built the buildings that we had. So as they were building the buildings, we were wiring up the internet in those buildings. So it was kind of simultaneous. We were wrapping up this big project as they were showing us the ropes of what to do and whatnot, right? So a group of them were in the attic I wouldn't say the attic, the crawl space, the roof, that crawl space up in the, I guess it would be the attic, because that's where all the wires came from. It went up the wall, went through the roofing, and then came down wherever it was going to drop. So, whatever. So they were up there, and them motherfuckers was up there smoking the spice that they got from whatever company that was able to ship spice to where we were. Bro, what I tell you... When I tell you that the leadership went up those stairs so fast and busted their ass, I ain't never seen anything like it. I have never seen, let me get back out. I'm still in Power World. Let me get out of that. I have never seen anything like it, bro. Like, legitimately, I think most of them, if not all of them, lost rank that day. Legitimately, I think they all lost rank that day because they got busted. They got busted bad too, bro. Like, they were doing, like, I mean, that wasn't the worst. That's not the worst thing I've ever seen overseas. But, yeah, I think it's called spice. Do people still smoke spice? Oh, spice is synthetic marijuana. But yeah, people still smoke it. That joint was wild. Yeah, they got deranked all day, and that's the worst thing because when you get busted in rank, bro, it's the worst, especially when you overseas, because that's it. I got stories for days. There was this one time, right? So when we got to Iraq, right? When we got to Iraq, it was only about 15 to 16 of us. We were a 2-rank. It was 2 squads. So it was not even squads. Yeah, it was squads. We were 2 squads. We were 2 squads when we went to Iraq. 15 of us were male. We had 1 female on the block. 1 female. There were 2 E7s with us, a couple E5s, and then there were E4s and E3s, right? That's when we first got to Iraq. When we first got to Iraq, they put us in these transition tents. And these transition tents, I have a picture of them. I wish I could show you. The transition tents were essentially 6-man tents with torn up sandbags around them to prevent like mortars and stuff, right? So it was bad. It was like we were living in the slums. Legitimately, we were living in the slums. So again, it was about 15 males and the 1 female. And in the 1 female, the 2 E7s decided, right? The 2 E7s decided that the female would stay in the tent with them, which was all kinds of crazy to us because we were like, I don't even think that's right. I don't think she's supposed to be sleeping in the tent with y'all. But that's way above my ranking. I'm only E4, the E7s, that's 3 ranks above me. If that's what y'all want to do, then by all means, go ahead and do it. That's whatever. So what she ended up doing, because, we had all this ammo and we had AT4s, which are the rocket launchers, and we had the 50 cal. We had all of that in that tent. So we had to have someone stay guard to watch the tent while we were working. So they were like, all right, we'll just leave her in the tents all day and she can watch the ammo while we are going to work. We were going to work. I was like, I don't understand how that's fair. But again, that's above my pay grade. I can't do nothing with that. So now, mind you, I told you the tents that we were staying in are transition tents. So whenever convoys were moving in and out of the base that we were on, they would stay in those tents. They would stay in those tents, and that they would be there for like a day and then move out. So one morning, mind you, I forgot to tell you, there's only 1 bathroom. There's only 1 bathroom. So whenever she would have to go and shower or whatnot, she would go use that bathroom, and there would be a sign up there. Nothing else was going on. We couldn't have anybody else up in there, which makes sense. We weren't mad about that. So one day we had a convoy pull through. Convoy rolled up. They were staying in some of the tents because there were like 12 tents over there. We didn't occupy that many. There's not that many of us. So we were heading to work, heading to the 7 buildings in the mansion joint. This chick she was a soldier. She was an E4. She was E4. We'll just leave it there. She was E4. So we're heading to work, and we see her talking to some of there's a convoy that pulled up and they were there. She was talking to some of the soldiers over there. We didn't mind it, whatever. If you're in the military, you're probably going to talk to some random folks that you don't ever know, but these folks were not in your unit. I've talked to Canadian soldiers. I've talked to our Afghanistan soldiers. We talked to a lot of people. So it wasn't a big deal that we saw her, talking to this convoy or whatever, right? So, boom, we go to work. We come back, convoy's still there. I don't know where she was, but I was trying to get back to my tent, take a shower, get back in the room, get back in my bed, and be done with whatever we got going on. One of the E6s, my section leader, my immediate section leader said, during the night, he had to go to the bathroom. So he gets up and he is walking towards the bathroom trailer, because it's a trailer. He says he looked over and he sees this glow stick just moving, like it's just moving. And we're like, what WTF? Why is this glow stick just like shaking, moving? So as he's walking past, the reason why this glow stick is moving is because the soldiers that they put in place to watch the ammo, she was getting cracked. She was getting cracked. And we all, after the story came to us, all we could do was just shake our head. We just shook our head. Yeah, outside. I did not know how serious like sleep disorders were until the Iraqi deployment. The Iraqi deployment, because they put me in charge of an E6. They put me in charge of an E6 because he would just be at work and we'd be having conversations, me and him, man, we'd be talking, right? And he would just straight fall asleep, like legitimately in the middle of the conversation. He'd just start dozing off. And I knew it was something serious. I'm like, hey, boy, like, bruh, you cannot sit down. He might have had some narcolepsy. I don't know. He didn't have it when he first got recruited. So what's wild to me is they sent him home because of it, because it was bad. It was bad. Like we were being buildings where generals would be, right? And he'd sit down and he'd start falling asleep. And they'd be like, Lewis, you got to make sure he don't fall asleep. And I'm like, bro, I don't know what y'all want me to do, because I gotta work. I can't be babysitting an E6 all day. So, but yeah, so they sent him home, and then somehow or another, he came back. They thought he was fixed. Hell no, he wasn't fixed. That nigga was still falling asleep. Bro, I was tight. I was mad. I was like, why? Like, he's a good dude. I think the funniest thing he ever did, because so me and my battle buddy was always cracking on that motherfucker. Like, always cracking on him. Like, you thought that like when in the we was cracking on him, bro. Like it was all good fun. So we in in the barracks that we were in when we were deploying or mobilizing in Indiana, they had us in bunk beds. So my battle buddy slept on the bottom bunk. I slept on the top bunk. Next to us was that sergeant, and he was on the top bunk, right? He was on the top bunk, and I forget who the hell slept under the bottom bunk. But he was on the top bunk. So he was right across from me. So we were asleep one day when everybody was asleep. Everybody was asleep. And I think I was kind of in and out of sleep. So I was up, but not really up. So I'm asleep, and all I hear is, oh shit! And this motherfucker fall out his bed and kick my battle buddy in his face. And I was crying, bro. I was crying. Because I did not understand why a grown ass man when diving out the bed. So everybody was laughing. My battle buddy, he was hot. He was mad because of course he got kicked in the face. So what happened was, or the story is, he said he was dreaming, and in his dream, me and my battle buddy was cracking on him, and we were playing football, I guess. And so in that dream, he was trying to tackle my battle buddy and ended up diving out the bed in real life. I was like, what? I was like, what do you have going on, my boy? So yeah, he ended up kicking my battle buddy in the face, and my battle buddy wasn't having that. He was not a fan of that. He was mad as hell. Hell no. So yeah, he was low key trying to spear my boy. Now, mind you, we did play football. It wasn't tackle though. We were playing football in the snow. Because we try, you gotta keep yourself. If you, like I said, every day in the military sometimes is Tuesday. Every day is Tuesday because Tuesday is not an eventful day. Tuesday is not an eventful day. So we would just do stuff to keep ourselves preoccupied. But yeah, that he fell out that bed. That shit was so funny. I was crying, bro. I was crying. Yeah, chat, I'm telling you. When I tell you there was some crazy times in the military, I'm telling you, bro. Like I got stories for absolutely days. I can talk about these stories for absolutely hours on everything from the time that I joined basic training up until now. Well, when I got out, it was some wild stuff. I got my rank busted by my lieutenant, who kind of screwed me over. What I didn't do anything heinous. So in the reserve, you do your 2 weekends out of 1 weekend out of a month, 2 weeks out of a year. On the way to drill, on the way to do my weekend, we were having a party, so I had to be in dress greens. And if you've never seen me in dress greens, I posted my dress greens before. But nonetheless, I got in a accident on the way to drill, on the way to drill. So I could not go to drill. And so because I couldn't I couldn't do that month. I couldn't do the next month because I didn't have, I was still working on the vehicle situation. My car was out for about a month. The LT, who was new LT trying to get her captain, decided it was cool since you didn't make these drills and you didn't make now at the time I was still fresh, so nobody told me I could make those days up. On top, during the week, but on top of that, I couldn't even make it up during the week. I was, at this time when it happened, I just started a new job at Best Buy. I was just starting Best Buy. I was also in school at the time, and I was doing the military all at the same time. So I had no wiggle room to do drill during the week. I couldn't do it. And so instead of, somebody explaining, well, I knew about the week thing after the fact. No one told me about being able to make time up to after the fact. So because I had missed those 2 drills, she took it upon herself to, bust my rank because I missed the drills, so she can look good. So, and that was like literally right before deployment. I had to, so that was like a couple months before we got deployed. So then I had to work my way back up. So by the time the deployment hit, I was back to my old rank. Yeah, it was a female. It was a female lieutenant. She got me. She and if you didn't know anything about the how ranking works sometimes in the military. Sometimes it's literally it's about who you know sometimes and not what you did. It doesn't matter what you did. So she was trying to pad her stats or pad her looking good, her disciplinary action type deal on me. It was a bunch of politics. So because literally I lost it that beginning of that year and then got it by the time we went to deployment. I was just like, what was the point of this? Like, what was the point of all this? So, and then the only reason I got out the military, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, so right around the time that my last deployment was coming up on the end of my my military contract. My contract was pretty much up by the time we got back. We got back, I think in November. We were on leave for about a month, so we didn't have to report the drill. A month in January, yeah. So in January and in February was my last drill, and my contract was up. So I was like, I'm going to put in for my E5 during this deployment, and before the deployment started, I said I'm either going to get my E5 and stay in the military, or I'm going to not get it, and then I'm not re-signing. I'm out. So, and the way you got to get your E5 in the military, you had to put this whole. It's almost like applying for a promotion in the civilian side, except you got to put this whole promotion packet together that shows everything. They want your degrees, they want your any good works that you've done, your PT test. They want to see everything like almost like a resume, right? My stuff was good. I passed my PT test. I had at that time I was a supervisor for Best Buy. I've been supervisor for forever and a day. I had a degree. Like I had all my stuff looked good. I had some letters of recommendations. They call them counselings, positive counselings. I had them in my promotion packet. My first sergeant made me take them out because he said that they could not be in there. And because I left them in there, he made me do push-ups because they were in there. He made me do push-ups, right? My promotion packet got denied. So I got denied my E5, and then I went to contest my denial. I went because you can do that. So when I went to the head of the board, which is the command sergeant major, he was like, you just, you passed your PT test, but you didn't do anything but the bare minimum. You kind of just passed your PT test. I was like, what does that matter? He said, and you could have had any good positive counseling statements in there that would have helped. And I was like, well, I did have them in there, but my first sergeant told me I could not. It didn't even matter. He wasn't trying to hear it. So he denied. He just upheld that denial. And then I went back and told my first sergeant, and he was like, well, you can get promoted while we're deployed. I was like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm out. I said, that was it. That was it. So as soon as we got back, that was it for me. Turned all of my gear in February when we got back. That was the same year I balled my head too. But yeah, I turned all of my gear in and was like, I'm done. And I got out. And I'm big chilling, big chilling, big chilling. Some of me wish I would have just went ahead and did the 20, because if I would have did the 20, I would be getting out now as we stand. Like today, I would be getting out, and I would have retirement, and I would have my disability. But better. I went on to better pastures. I was out of that joint. I did not want to stay in there. I couldn't do it anymore. Besides, my section sergeant from my second deployment, he stayed in for a little bit longer. Legitimately, we got back in 2011. I think by 2013, 2014, he was right back, got deployed again. I was like, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. I am not going back over there for nothing. So yeah, that was yeah, there was and then I was sleep deprived, so I was hallucinating when I was so sleep deprived once because we had to work 24 hours one day. We worked for literally straight 24 hours, and I hallucinated, so I know what a man trying to find love. He won't try to find love, brother, and he already knew that. He won't try to find love, bro. That was not love. That was a moment that I wish he could take back. Shout out to him though. He passed away a couple years back. So shout out to him. Yeah, I hallucinated. We worked 24 hours. We worked 24 hours. We had to finish this project, one of the buildings, and they tasked us out. So we had to get it done within 24 hours because that's what they wanted. So there's a picture of me after I finished that shift too, because whatever building we worked in, we set up an internet cafe for us, so that way we could have the internet, instant message folks back home, blah blah blah, back do whatever, right? And there's a picture of me. I'm sitting in a chair and I fall asleep because I'm just that tired. So from that picture, I was walking back to the tent. It was about a 5 to 10 minute walk back to the tent from where we were. And I'm walking, and in front of me, I thought I saw a dog. Like legitimately, I thought I saw a dog, and I was no, not the bat. The bat was a totally different thing. This is a dog. I thought the dog was just standing in front of me because it looked like it's a black shadow, and I'm just like, man, I'm thinking it's a dog. I'm there for 5 minutes trying to strategize how I'm gonna get around this damn dog. Like legitimately, I'm like, man. I said, all right, I gotta get around this damn dog. I'm tired. I'm ready to go back to the room. We gotta figure something out, because if not, I'm just gonna be here all night. Like there's no other way around. I don't feel like taking the long way. So after about 5 minutes, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just walk. And if the dog get me, he get me. It was a shadow. I think it was a bush, to be honest. And I was like, yeah, that's wild. I was like, that's wild. So then I passed the bush that was a wannabe dog, right? And this soldier, because now it's morning time, and we're supposed to salute the officers when we're overseas. I mean, in general, overseas we're not supposed to salute any officers because we don't want the enemy to know who the leadership is. So we're not supposed to salute. And at night, if you know the E4 ranking compared to the major, like the it looks weird. It looks you can't tell the difference at night. Really, you would have to be up on them because the base was dark. We don't want to have lights on the base at night. So I'm walking back to the tent now. Finally, after I'm past dog that's not a dog, and the soldier walks up on me. I don't know what his rank was, and he was like, "Good morning, sir," and he saluted me, and so I'm so out of it, right? I'm so out of it, and I look up. I'm like, "Huh?" He's like, "Good morning, sir." I was like, "Carry on, soldier." I am not an officer. I was just like, "Carry on, soldier," and I walked to my room. That dude, he locked up and everything like that. I was so confused. I was so damn confused. Why is he saluting me? I am not an officer. I am slim, just an E4 nobody. But I'm so tired, bro. I'm so tired. I'm trying to get back to the room. Oh man, good times, man. Good times.